Lay me at the bottom of the river. The devil has come to carry me home. Lay me at the bottom of the river.
Hello. Hey, why don't we start with you describing the work you're doing?
It's been 22 years I've been working on this line of cattle that we've got. We've put this science on top of what we do that makes it so interesting, and we're doing something that nobody else does. My responsibility is to look after the land, but just a shame, I missed out on a lot. Being gay in a small country town, I guess, comes with its challenges. The biggest thing is the difficulty of having a partner and meeting a partner. My mother passed away about 10, 12 years ago, and my father's got Alzheimer's and is in the local nursing home. So I'm the big boy in the house now, which is very sad, but anyway. As sorry as I felt about myself being a single gay man in the country, the sorry was never strong enough to make me change and go and do something else, as much as the torment came. It's just pros and cons, you know. Do you want the farm? Do you want what you've created to turn into something? Or are you going to just throw it away and go and try and meet somebody in Sydney? And I stuck with it, I guess.
What keeps you up at night?
My dreams, but I mean that in a bad way.
Welcome to Cooter Park. I'm fourth generation farmer on this property. In Australia, the beef industry is responsible for about 10% of all our emissions, as much as the whole transport industry.
Oh.
And that's not good.
Okay, so do you get a premium for the work that you've done?
We have an on-property bull sale each year, which is in a month's time.
With the bulls that you sell, it is known that you're specializing in conversion and you've got many more data than other people have. Is it pain?
No.
No.
That's okay. Surprise.
No.
Have you another daughter or son?
No.
No.
Never married.
Ah.
Whether people know that I'm gay and whether that means people won't come and buy bulls from me, or people know we're talking about climate change and they won't come and buy bulls from us. It's sensing the market and the industry that you work in and trying to work out, is it all right to say it?
It'd be interesting to see how the bull sale goes in a couple of weeks. Like, I feel for him if he doesn't have a good sale. He keeps on keeping on. There'd be times, I'd imagine, when he's lonely, but I suppose everybody's lonely at some stage, if they're on their own all the time. If he had a partner, he'd be going a lot better. If somebody did find him, he'd be a fairly good, handy bloke to be hanging around, I can assure you.
My main relationship was with a guy who was a fashion journalist in Sydney, which was, you know, fashion journalist meets farmer. Really, he was the guy who should have been the farmer, and I should have been the guy who should have been the fashion journalist.
Damien, the guy that I went out with for 5 years, he bought this house in Cowra as an investment, and so I moved into that house and lived there, and then he used to come up on the weekends and that sort of stuff. And then eventually he moved to Cowra. We both lived here for 6 months or something until it broke down. It wasn't easy for me, particularly at that time, just at that time, not that I'm saying it was only difficult for me, but just at that particular time is the time that Mum was diagnosed with cancer and we were in the middle of a drought, and it was a pretty dark time for me. But that's all part of the processes of putting things in place to enable me to get through it. So started lining up psychologists and lining up medication and all those sort of things, whatever it took to try and make me better. But I certainly had to stop going to Sydney all the time and looking for happiness and looking for love. I think all his friends back in Sydney apparently were having bets on how long he'd last in Cowra. But he tried, which was amazing. Yeah.
I used to say I had two jobs. One was a farmer and the other one was a husband hunter. You know, and it was this sort of eternal struggle, I guess, to get into space where I might meet somebody, and then if you didn't, the depression that came after. The day that I came home and told my parents that I was gay at the age of 28, and my mother just asked all the right questions and said everything beautifully and properly and intelligently, and my dad sort of sat there and didn't say much at all.
It's hard, father and sons working together. It can be really, really hard. And it's two people making one decision, or old bull and young bull and all of that sort of stuff. He built the house that I now live in. He created my whole world, I guess.
He couldn't understand why I needed to leave so much and needed to go to Sydney so much, and that you marry yourself to the land and that's what you do. The difference is that he had a wife and children living with him, and so he had everything he wanted right there. But he seemed to stick with me, and I stuck with it, I guess. There's lots of other people out there who have a similar experience.
I struggled with the prospect of being gay for probably 20-odd years. It's quite a lonely situation. I don't think I could have come out and stayed in Cowra. The ability to translate your life from, say, Cowra to Sydney, it's a lot easier for someone like me than it would be for someone like John. He's a farmer. Not too many farmers around here, I can tell you. I think he's very brave. Go back to a country town and assume that life's going to be wonderful. Well, you don't. But it can be very lonely. I'm not saying I don't have my periods of loneliness either. My last partner ended up committing suicide, and it was pretty hard. I know perhaps it must be heading up towards certainly 15, might be more people I've known that have committed suicide. I don't think I will.
The thing I really hated doing in farming was sitting on a tractor, going round and round, and I just wished to stop thinking. You're always waiting for another phone call from people saying that they're coming to the sale, that they're going to buy a bull or 4 bulls or 10 bulls, just hoping that, you know, you might get a message that things are going to be all right.
G'day, John. It's Rebecca. I just wanted to let you know that our bull's going on the truck tomorrow, and we're looking at not replacing anything till at least after the summer. So anyway, I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
I just want it over and done with, really. You just want to know. Once you know where you're at, it's a whole lot easier to deal with than not knowing. So it's every year at this particular time, lambs to the slaughter is the feeling that I get, where you sort of know what's going to happen. And because it's a tougher year, it's more likely to happen, but that's cool. That's cool. That's our choice. Going to be tough, but that's all right. We've prepared ourselves for this moment of it being tough, and you never know, you might get a surprise, but I'm a bit over that now. Would you like a chair outside, Harv?
It's very thoughtful, mate.
Thank you. How are you today?
How's it all looking out there, John?
Yeah, pretty ordinary, but anyway. By the time the first bull starts being auctioned, I'll know what's going to happen. Thank you.
We could have your attention, please. We'd like to get the sale on the road here this afternoon. Firstly, a very warm welcome. In what we experienced, something completely different to what we saw here last year in weather. We all had snow coats on, and this year we're kicking up the dust. I don't think there's anything else. Auction spots is ready to go. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll waste no time. Straight into the first pen, lot number one. There we go for him. Look at him, mate. Who's got about 8,000? 8,000. Come on, give me 7. Give me 7. Give me 6. Who's got 6 to go? Who's got 5? 5,000, surely. Come on, who's got 5 to go? 5 to go. 5 to start, surely. Come on, who's got 5? Who's got 4? 4,000. 4 to go. 4 to start. 4, surely. 4 to go. 4 to start. Who's got 4 to go? Ladies and gentlemen, we won't come below that figure all day. Some of the best bulls John's got here this year, and he's pulled it down, narrowed it down to 32, and some of the best bulls he's ever bred here today. 4 to go, 4 to start, 4 surely. No bid, no offer. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll sit that first bull aside. There we go, lot number 2. Lot number 2 this time. $98 on the feet, and there we go, but that's full there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the motor, who's got 5 to go? 5,000, 5, come on, give me 4 gold. I'll be 4 bids here. I'll be 4 there, I'll be 4,000 there. I'll be 4,000 there, give me 5. I'll be 4,500 on the start. That completes the auction here today. He's hoping for a little bit of rain going forward. It's good to see a smile on many people's faces still, considering how tough it is. So thank you and have a good day. Cheers.
How many does this sell? Don't know, half of them will be? Yeah. So I'll just thank these guys as well.
All right, we'll get out of your
way.
How are you?
Thank you.
It's all right?
Again.
It's okay. It's good. It's all good.
I always compare myself to the best and want to be the best. So that's the hard part, I guess, a little bit, is trying to work out what you're doing wrong and change it, and then try and be more successful. So, yeah, once you get into that space, it gets quite complex, because then you realise the only way that you're going to make that amount of money is actually change your breed. If I'd started with straight Angus and have done what we've done over the last 22 years, I'd imagine we probably could be doing very well. But that was my choice. So I chose to cross two breeds together and give it a name and go along the line of composite breeding. So it's no one else's responsibility but my own.
We can always hope for next year. We'll do something better.
The more buzz you create in your life, the less time there is to hear the silence and the emptiness.
World leaders were rebuked at the UN Climate Summit by teenage activist Greta Thunberg, who called for immediate action on climate change.
My message is that we'll be watching you.
The issue of climate change is quite challenging in agriculture. There's a lot of people who believe it's not happening. This is science. This is not me making anything up. It might be that part, I don't know, about being gay and being a gay farmer or something like that, and the part about coming out was just that realisation that I can't lie anymore, I can't bullshit anymore. You've got to, I don't know, that you have to be real, you have to be honest, and that cements something pretty powerful. The only people who aren't talking about it is our industry. We're trying to do the best thing by the land that we have and the space that we occupy for the period of time that we do. That's the part that I want to live on after I'm gone.
Oh my Lord, take this soul, lay me at the bottom of the river.
It is tough and it is challenging, but we do have something very unique.
Lay me at the bottom.
So why would I walk away from that?
The bottom of the river.
I always look at my point of difference as something I was never going to let that stand in the way of what I achieved in my life.
What he's done is an original thought. He's just applied that, what we've got, to originality in its look. So here we are, and we haven't had to tear ourselves up and go, you know, what we dream about might be a better place to be and start from scratch there again. We're still here in the same place, making the best we can of it.
I love my dad. Of course I do, I absolutely do. No one made me come back to the farm. In fact, my parents pushed me away. My father sat me down and said, here's the rule. You're not coming back to this farm till you're 25. And I thank him so much. Thank him for yeah, because it put the responsibility back on me. Where are my dreams at now? What can I create that, when I go, has justified the air that I've breathed and the space that I took up in being a human being on this earth? It's just a reality. Everybody's trying to create low emission products. The beef industry has to try and do it as well.
From when I could walk, I was chasing the cows around the farm, so my love for that was a glue or a constant or something. I look back on that boy or young man going around in a tractor with such anxiety and such unhappiness and say, well, I'm not him anymore. Isn't that just unreal?
You all right? That's a bit better.
Hello, Chris speaking.
Chris, it's John Wright speaking with Harvey.
Yeah, won't be a second.
Thanks. Thank you.
Harvey's son. He's a bit younger than Harvey.
Just a bit.
Jonathan, you're the cattleman.
I'm the cattleman, that's right. I can't rewrite history. I can't rewrite my life. What I do know, the result of what's happened in the past is where I am now. And I'm really happy and really content in that. And do I want it to be better? And do I wish for some things that aren't here now? Maybe. But all I can do is just keep being driven and keep being positive. And I reckon they'll come.